Trigger warning, unaliving attempt mention. This is an original story with two updates. May 3rd, 2025. Obligatory throwaway account, as many in my life know my usual account. Posting because I really don't know how to feel about this and I just needed to get it off my chest. Sorry for the long ass post. There's a lot to unpack. We love long posts. Backstory first. So, around 2 years ago, my ex fiance, who I'd been in a relationship with for almost 10 years, unceremoniously just left me. It never fully made sense to me as there were no warning signs. We were actively planning our wedding and finally agreed to try for a baby, as we were both in our 30s and time was ticking. Then one day, he just started acting sort of off. Wasn't saying I love you before he left for work for the day, was spending more time out drinking with friends than when he was at home. He'd been struggling with his mental health since the vid lockdowns, so I assumed he was having a bit of a downward spiral. So I sat down with him one day and just asked him if everything was okay with him. He tried to brush it off initially and kept saying he was fine. So I changed the question and asked if we were okay. He looked like he didn't really want to answer, so I asked again. He paused, and in that moment, I knew it was over. I asked if he still loved me. He said he loved me, but wasn't in love with me anymore. And that was it. Within a week, he had moved out, leaving 90% of his belongings to be collected at a later date and to serve as a constant reminder that he had just gone. To say it hit me hard was an understatement. I spiraled massively. I was at the lowest point I had ever been in my life. So I tried to end it all. It just hurt too much, feeling like there was something so wrong with me that he had just left. 10 years, people, 10 years. Fortunately, a friend managed to get me to the hospital before I did any serious damage to myself. And while I still felt awful about myself most of the time, it got a little easier. I ended up dating that friend a few months later. A lot of people said it was too soon to move on, but honestly, I never set out to have another relationship at all. But his constant support, presence, and reassurance that there was nothing wrong made me feel like I wanted to spend time with him and those who truly gave a shit about me. And in time, we developed feelings for each other. We had a beautiful relationship filled with love and laughter. And much to our surprise, I ended up pregnant 9 months into our relationship. We decided to keep the baby, even though our relationship was still in its early stages. And 9 months later, our beautiful daughter was born. We are still as strong as ever today and continuing to build an amazing life together as a family. Now, on to present day. I guess my ex has been reflecting on the past recently due to a lot of deaths in his family. And his mother, who I am still close with today, reached out to me to ask whether I'd be willing to meet up with him as he had something to get off of his chest. She didn't know what he wanted to talk to me about, as it was something he could only discuss with me. But she would understand if I said no. I decided to think about it for a few days before I agreed that I would meet up with him at a local coffee shop. I got there early because, mama needs her caffeine fix with these early morning wake ups and night feeds. I was already sat down when he came in, and he gave me the saddest looking smile while I merely just nodded to him and motioned for him to sit down and get out whatever it was he needed to tell me. I was a little speechless at what he had to say. He said that when we started trying for a baby and nothing was happening, even though we were closely tracking my ovulation cycle and testing every day for that sweet spot, he realized something wasn't right. So he secretly took a day off work to see a fertility doctor. They found that due to an undiagnosed issue in one of his testicles, the likelihood of him ever being able to conceive a biological child of his own was incredibly low. He knew that I loved him so deeply that I would have given up my dream of having children just for him. And he said he couldn't live with that on his conscience, that I deserved to have the life and family I'd always wanted, only with someone else. He kept apologizing profusely for hurting me so much in the process, but tried to rationalize that I had got what I'd wanted in the end, so his plan ultimately worked. I ultimately sat there silent for a few minutes and just looked at him dead in the eyes and said that was never a decision for him to make. He took my choice away and nearly destroyed me in the process. And then I got up and left. It's been a few days and I'm still processing. My partner knew I was meeting up with the ex and he knows something is up, but is giving me space until I feel ready to talk about it. But honestly, I'm shook. Like, did my ex honestly think I'd be like, okay, thanks for letting me know, and then we'd be friends again? Some relevant comments that were in this. Absolutely. Your ex boyfriend had no right to take away your choice in this matter. Did he know about your failed attempt at unaliving? Why did he not come back then and admit that it was all a mistake? Because you couldn't have babies if you were, right? I think it is either he is an absolute moron or he is trying to give you some BS reason so that you think of him in a better light going forward. OP responded, yes, he was aware of the attempt. We had a pretty close knit group of friends, some of whom were really supportive afterwards. They made him aware. I got a, I hope you're okay, sorry for everything message after he found out. I never responded. And it was at that point that I blocked and deleted his number and all his socials because I couldn't trust myself not to drunk message him begging for him to come back. Man, not only does that suck, he is such a jerk. Here's my question. There's other ways to deal with infertility. You've got donations, adoption, IVF. The fact that he would rather have taken this decision from you than discuss options with you proves he was not a suitable long term partner for you. There are lots of hard decisions couples need to make together, and he demonstrated that he was unwilling to give you any real choice in the life you guys were to share together. You're better off now than you ever were with now that you're with your new partner. Let's get to update 1.